So it's been a while since the original Drunken Peasants host left. So I was thinking we could do a little retrospective here and go through what I consider to be the top 10 Drunken Peasants villains. Let's get started. Number 10, Wild Bill for America. So out of all the Drunken Peasants villains, Wild Bill was probably the most calm and chill. He never had any direct confrontations with the peasants, nor did he ever call them out or do any response videos. I just had to put him on the list because of how iconic he is. Number 9, Josh Fierstein. Now here's someone who is a little more on the aggressive side. He mostly just spewed your typical Christian arguments, but I always liked his style. He had kind of a Fred Durst vibe going on. Also, all the jokes about him having a Red 1 camera were pretty funny. Still not the best Drunken Peasants villain, but still pretty memorable. Number 8, the Beast. The fucking Beast! What's not to love about the Beast? How he's like in his early to mid 20s, but looks like he's 14. How he complains about like the same two topics in the same shitty looking room with the freaking giant hole in the wall. And how he tries to act all tough and gangster in all his videos. It's beautiful. He's one of those people where I always wondered what his real life is like. The only reason why he's so low on the list is because he never had any direct confrontation with the peasants, nor did he ever like call them out or anything. Number 7, Tommy Sotomayor. Man, was this guy a hypocrite. Always flip-flopping on race relations and all that. I believe one time he even said that slavery was a choice. But nonetheless, he was pretty entertaining. And if it wasn't for him, we may have never gotten Glanderson Booper. Number 6, G-Man. I'll never forget the first time they covered Atheists Owned. And then G-Man did a response rap to that, and they covered it. Then he did another response rap, and it just kept going back and forth until he eventually had a rap battle with Creationist Cat. It was classic. You know, screw the whole Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly beef. This is where it was at. Yeah, G-Man truly was a character. Number 5, Steve Shives. You know, there once was a time where I actually watched his videos unironically, because he once had a decent channel. Then the Ice Queen took over, and I think we all know what happened to poor old Steve after that. Number 4, Joseph Martelli. So out of all the Drunken Peasants villains, Joseph Martelli was the closest to being, well, actually dangerous. From what I remember, he'd travel around to people's actual hometowns and be like, "Hey, Joseph Martelli here. I'm in so-and-so's hometown. You come confront me," or whatever. Like, he wouldn't technically threaten them, but it would be like right on the border. It was pretty troubling. But that's what made him entertaining. Number 3, the Vigilant Christian Mario. Where to even begin with this guy? From his Illuminati conspiracy theory stuff, to his bipolarism, his constant meltdowns. One video I recall where he's getting baptized in what looks like a YMCA. Just a total mess of a human being. But that's what puts him so high up on the list. Number 2, Onision. So unlike a lot of other people on this list, Onision's fame didn't primarily come from being a Drunken Peasants villain. He actually had a good following beforehand. But boy, was this guy a creep. I believe he would fly underage girls over state borders in the states where they were legal. His, quote, body positivity videos, so much for that. And just like a constant waterfall of drama, like the Niagara Falls of drama was Onision. And that's why he's number 2. So before I reveal our number 1 pick, I just want to go through a few honorable mentions. So our first honorable mention goes to Andrew Bushard, aka the Why Be an Atheist guy. So the thing I love about this guy is how at first he just seems like this really innocent, goofy guy, but later on down the road we find out he's just this total creep when he's writing The Seduction of Anita Sarkeesian. Just a really interesting guy. The reason he didn't make the list is because he's technically not a villain, just kind of this weird guy they'd cover occasionally. And the other honorable mention goes to Fake Sagan, aka Chris Anderson. So the reason he didn't make the list is just because I don't remember much about him. All that really sticks in my memory is this massive rant that Paul went on against him after he accused Paul of being a manic depressant. And the only other thing is this really creepy, like, high school dance from the 80s looking picture that he took. Yeah, that's about it. And the number one Drunken Peasants villain is. Of course, it's Brett Keane. Who else could it be? Like, you could sit down with any hardcore DP fan and they could blab to you for like 3 hours about everything Brett Keene's done, from the constant scams and schemes and projections, all the Brett Keenisms. It's just the complete package. He's the Dr. Eggman of the Drunken Peasants. You get it. Nothing more needs to be said here. Well, that wraps up this list. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to, you can feel free to post who you think the top 10 or top 5 DP villains are down there in the comments. Also, feel free to subscribe, although I'm not sure how frequently I'll be uploading. Like, these last few videos are the first time I've uploaded to this channel in like 8 months. So yeah, you could subscribe at your own risk. And I think that's about it. Peace.